Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Creating the Vision. Oh my goodness, I have a fellow Kentuckian in the house and I am so
Yes.
excited. Anytime I can bring a little piece of the bluegrass to South Florida, it's always a great thing because we're just amazing people, by the way.
I think
If you
so.
didn't know. Yeah, I
Most
think
of
so too.
us.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, my guest this week is Andrew Shayde. If you do not know who he is, you are going to know after this and follow him and all of his incredible adventures, actually his amazing adventures, because speaking of, he was on The Amazing Race and Buddy Games on CBS. You have also been on the Disney Channel's hit series Naked and Afraid. I cannot wait to dive into Naked and Afraid.
Oh, yes.
I cannot wait to talk about this. You were the author of several critically acclaimed graphic novel series, and you've been a panel speaker around the nation at events like New York City Comic Con. I think what is so beautiful about you and your soul, though, is that since 2002, you have worked in the nonprofit sector, raising over $10 million for HIV, AIDS, youth, and homelessness-related causes. You do reside in Lexington, Kentucky, which will always hold a piece of my heart.
Yep.
And you're also an actor, too, appearing in independent films and such stage shows as The Boys in the Band and Sordid Lives. I am just so excited for you to take us on this wild adventure that is your life throughout this episode and the next 25 to 30 minutes of us just chit-chatting. So I want to dive in. One, I want to give you an opportunity to share any more if you would like, but I just want to dive in and oh my goodness, in preparation for this, I just kept thinking about how incredible your life story is. I'm waiting for the book and and I just want to know how you continue to create this fabulous vision for the life that you live.
Yeah. I think I've been really lucky, extremely lucky in a lot of ways. And really, it was years ago. Reality TV was in its infancy. And the only shows at the time were like The Real World, Survivor, Big Brother season 1 was when my dad and I were cast on The Amazing Race. I was just 21 years old. I had seen one episode. I never watched reality TV. I had seen one episode of that show and I just thought, that is cool. The Amazing Race, teams of 2 travel around the world, country to country, experiencing the culture and doing all kinds of crazy challenges, competing for $1 million. And I was like, well, that one's pretty cool. I just thought reality TV was just backstabbing or hooking up in a hot tub or whatever. Yeah. And I didn't want to do any of that. But The Amazing Race, I saw that. I was like, that'd be crazy. I'll throw my hat in the ring. I'll try out. And my dad and I sent in an audition tape and a very quick casting process in Los Angeles and phone calls. And before we knew it, we were traveling around the world on the Emmy-winning series. And it was absolutely incredible. I think that was really the catalyst for a lot of things that came after. Just I think being on international television, seeing the world at only 21, traveling outside of the US, I hadn't done yet. It seemed very intimidating and very scary. But all of a sudden, I was doing it with no maps, no guidance, no idea where we were going next. And I was like, well, after I came back from that experience, I was like, I guess if I did that without maps, without knowing the languages, and I can always figure it out. So I can get anywhere in the world and I can figure it out. And you'd be amazed how far a smile and patience and kindness will get you across the planet, even if you don't know the language. If you're kind and patient and just give people a friendly face, people in whatever language they speak, I have found will generally bend over backwards to help you.
I appreciate you saying that so much because the intimidation of a lot of people who won't travel or don't travel, sometimes it's also financial stuff, but I always say if you can make a plan to save and travel, do so, because I think you find that our world is actually really kind and there's so much more good than we put out there on the news.
Yes.
And I just love that you said that because I think every time I travel, it brings me closer to realizing that one, our world is a lot smaller than we sometimes think. And it just opens us up to so many unique opportunities that we never would have had the opportunity to have had we not just done the dang trip, just taken the trip and made it happen.
Yes, I think seeing the world changes you probably more so than anything else in the world can. Actually seeing it, being out there, realizing that your bubble of your life is so tiny. And your bubble isn't the only bubble. It's not the only correct bubble. It's not the only way to live in that bubble. There are a million ways to live incredible lives in different cultures and different parts of the world. And it brings your humility down. You're like, I may be a big dog in Lexington, Kentucky, but this is just little Lexington, Kentucky. One of the things that I have found is when you encounter people who are racist or homophobic or whatever, a lot of those people have something in common, and they have never really traveled. They may go to their little town, their little place where they enjoy camping, and often the same community will go to Panama City, Florida, or the same generally white, straight bubbles. And I think when they start to go to different parts of the world, to Africa, I've been to twice now, and South America twice, Central America, all these crazy, amazing places. You meet these amazing people whose world is completely different than yours. And you realize, like, these are amazing people out there of all colors, of all types. And I think that's what really breaks down a lot of those like ingrained racism and things that a lot of us are born into and surrounded by. And I think pay attention when you hear people hollering awful racist crap. You can tell they've never left their little village to experience anything else.
Yeah. And I think so and I guess it would be my next question is just kind of piggybacking off of that and pivoting really into your work with HIV and AIDS, because I think that's so, I'm just not even fascinated by it. I'm grateful, and I am thankful that there are humans like you doing such fantastic work like that, because it's needed. How do you help create that vision for others who maybe can't see so clearly what the message you're trying to project?
Mm-hmm. I think, I guess the reason I got into nonprofit is I felt like I am lucky and privileged on so many levels. I have my health, I have a supportive family, a million other things that are just really kind of luck that this is where I was born, who I was born into, that sort of thing. And it was, I don't know, on my heart for whatever reason that I wanted to always help. I committed myself. I swear there was a night, Maria, I looked into the stars. I was camping, looked into the stars, and I vowed to myself, I was working at a camp for kids, a lot of them with health issues. And I said, no matter what I do as a career, I will always have a part of my life going to helping people that maybe didn't have the privilege that I had or the health that I had. I'm a big, strong, bullheaded person. Like, I don't bow down to anybody. I'm afraid of nothing. So what I can do is use that and stand in front of people who need a little extra help, or who maybe don't have that confidence yet, and protect them. I'm a big comic book reader. I'm a comic book writer. I speak at Comic-Cons, that sort of thing. And my favorite panel, that's a square in a comic book. You read a page of a comic book, it has panels. And one panel, I forget the author of this book, but it was Captain America talking to two little kids, a 3-year-old and a 7-year-old. And Captain America said, I have to go take care of this thing, but you, the 7-year-old, you have to take care of this 3-year-old. And the 7-year-old goes, why do I have to take care of this 3-year-old? And Captain America says, because you're bigger than them. And what that meant to me, that became my religion. It became my mantra. It became my goal in life, that no matter what, I will always protect the person that's smaller than me. And that doesn't necessarily mean physically smaller, but maybe someone that needs that extra help in whatever way that is, if I'm able to do that.
Yeah, I think that you giving them that voice and through that message is so empowering and so powerful, because there's so many people who they need help. They need help. They need their message to be heard. And I am just so thankful that you're using your megaphone and your stance within the community and within the reality TV world and all of that, to use that to bring a voice and a light to those issues. So yeah, so beautiful.
I've been lucky. I've been a nonprofit since I was 21. I'm 42 now, so half my life. And I love it. I've got to meet some incredible people. I have learned from them. I've worked in nonprofit in Kentucky, Ohio, and in Portland, Oregon for many years. And each nonprofit that I've worked at, it's been a few, I've just learned from so many different people, their different experiences. Someone who's fighting a difficult diagnosis or someone in poverty, kind of working their way out of that, or whatever it is. Like, I just love to ask questions, and I learn from a lot of those people. So I may be working to raise the money to help cover medical costs or housing or whatever, but I'm also learning. I also use these people as teachers so I can understand the world from different viewpoints. And that's something that I think our country in general needs to do a little bit better job of, is understanding each other from different viewpoints. Instead of saying, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, ask someone, I don't understand your viewpoint, but explain it to me. And I think that's where our whole entire country could do a lot better. And I love hearing those stories, so I learn from that.
Oh, I could not agree more with that. I could not agree more with that. We're definitely on the same page there. And going back to, you said you had the moment where you were looking up at the stars. I feel like we all have those moments in life. What have been some of the pivotal moments of your life, whether either you've like redirected that vision for your life, or you've just had those moments that you've said, okay, I love that you made the reference, like this was put on your heart, because I always tell people, like, what I'm doing now is 100% put on my heart. And honestly, when I get really real with myself, I ignored that voice and that tug on my heart for a really long time, just thinking that I knew better, until I think it just like grabs you so fiercely and is like, no, I'm showing you the way and you're not listening.
Yeah.
Did you have any of those moments in your life outside of the moment where you're looking up at the stars and kind of vowing to yourself to always protect that bigger person?
Yeah, I think that really was
Smaller
a
person,
start.
sorry.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
the start for me as far as kind of committing to nonprofit work. And that doesn't mean that I have to be a 40-hour job nonprofit. Now, I have been for 21 years. But even if I got a job elsewhere, the part of my commitment was that I would join a board or continue to fundraise for nonprofits or whatever that looks like, but I will always be involved. Even if I'm at some new job at a computer 40 hours a week, in my free time, I'm going to commit no matter what to stay involved in helping others. And that is kind of my own version of religion or faith, is my faith in other people and what I can give back to help others, because I have been lucky. As goofy as it sounds, I think The Amazing Race, when I was 21, was a pivotal moment for me. Not because it's on TV, not because it's a game show, because it gave me confidence, the confidence to go do anything and to speak up, to travel, to try new things. That can be a really scary thing to do when you're young, is to go on TV at the sake or fear of embarrassment or retaliation of some kind, or who knows what. But I came back with that with a newfound confidence that I didn't expect to happen. And I just felt like I was unstoppable after that. And so it was years later, worked in a nonprofit, and I eventually kind of got this almost like this hankering, this drive, this hunger for that adrenaline rush again that The Amazing Race provided. I ended up applying for it, Naked and Afraid, and I have since done it 3 times in South Africa twice, and in the Pearl Islands off Panama. And those were incredible experiences. Also, very brutal, stripped from everything. No phone, no TV, no radio, no shoes. And that really will show you what you got inside. People get stuck up or they get hung up on the naked word. Let's throw that away. That's irrelevant. That means nothing. You're out there. Of course, yes, you are naked. But it's what do you have? I mean, that show, the original premise was kind of based on Adam and Eve, a man and a woman in the wilderness, and kind of looking back on our past. Do we still have it inside of us to survive without all the luxuries of the modern world? And I learned that I can do that. And I've told everybody since I've done it, it's maybe 5 or 10% knowledge about how to survive in the wild. It is absolutely, without question, 90% mental. Can you push through the hardship? Can you get through that? So I know I've seen Marines who are trained in survival quit, a couple days in. And then I've seen an art teacher who's never really been outside survive the 21 days, which is the goal, to reach the end of 21 days. Because it's the heart and it's the mind. And so after that was another big confidence booster for me when I was able to complete that on a Naked and Afraid Castaways, which was an incredible adventure in the Pearl Islands. And then I was just like, man, I think I'm unstoppable. And I like that feeling, because to me, it's not arrogance. It's just good old fashioned confidence. And that's what I want everyone to have, that maybe you will fail. I failed on my first two Naked and Afraids, didn't make it to 21 days, but I kept going and I finally reached that milestone. And I think everyone needs to kind of have that with them. Prepare for the failure and learn from it and get back up and do the damn thing again.
Yes, I love it. There's so much power in that too. And I think there's, oh my goodness, I'm like, oh wow, the mindset that has to go into you having almost those internal conversations with yourself. Now, are you isolated when you're out there too? So are you like in your head a lot? Do you think that's why people give up often, because they're like, oh, I just can't do it? Like they almost become like in their own head too
Yeah.
much? Okay.
I mean, we are pack animals by nature. We like to be around people. Now, some people say they don't. They do. We all
Mm-hmm.
need human interaction in some form or another. And luckily on Naked and Afraid, I had a partner the first time. My second challenge, I actually ended up with 3 partners. And there were 9 of us on Naked and Afraid Castaways, my third go at a spinoff of the show. And I love that. Like, other people give me strength. I could not do it alone. There are people who have been out there and they've done 21 days completely alone. I couldn't do it. I need humans. People
Mm-hmm.
give me energy. I love the
Same.
conversation, all that. So
Yes.
I realize how important people are to me, especially when you're out there and you have no Netflix to turn on,
Yeah.
no music to listen to kill time. It's just you and someone else. And there's nothing more incredible to me than those campfire tales at night when, you're out there, it's pitch black outside and you're with this stranger you just met a few days prior, and you start talking about life and fails and failures and successes and joys. And so those people you get incredibly close to. I think it's like trauma bonding or war bonding. People that come back from war. I am not equating Naked and Afraid to war, so please don't anyone take that away. Just meaning that it's such a unique circumstance
Mm-hmm.
that not many people have been through. So you get really close to the people that you're out there with. And I try to bring that into my real world when I'm hanging out with friends. Sometimes I'm like, let's not do a Netflix night. Let's keep the TV off and just have a good old conversation. I think
Yeah.
so often as adults, we're drinking our Chardonnay and we're just talking crap to each other, or we're just having a movie night, or we go watch sports together. But what we don't often do anymore as adults is just sit down and talk. What's new with you? Don't say work, I'm busy. Don't say that. Offends me. I hate it when
Mm-hmm.
you say what's going on. Oh, just been busy, work. I'm like, no, there's
Mm-hmm.
more to your life than being busy at work. Tell me, are
Yes.
you happy in your marriage? Are you struggling in your marriage? What's just driving you right now? What's
Mm-hmm.
your new goal? Like, there's always more stuff to say than work is busy. And I beg people in conversation, don't say work, I'm busy. Don't say it to me. Tell me the real stuff.
Yes, yes. And I guess Elmo has made a splash lately with a comment on just asking people how they were doing. And people really leaned in on that. And it was great in so many ways, sad in a lot of other ones, but it really showed us that we're not doing so well. And we do need to check in on each other. You're right. And stop accepting these very, I don't even know what the word is, but just very basic, I think that we're almost ingrained in us is just to say, how's
Yeah.
business? It's good. How are you doing? I'm good. And
Uh-huh.
it's like, what, to your point? No, 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 no. There's
Yeah.
so much more
And
going on in your life.
it's
Not that
right.
you
And
want, yeah.
it's not that I'm digging for the tea. It's not that I'm digging for drama. It may not be anything bad, but just tell me more.
Right.
Be like, you know what? I've kind of been thinking I want to start quilting. I've never quilted in my life. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What's driving you to quilt? I love it. Tell me more.
Yes.
I feel like anybody that gets stagnant, and starts getting the couch cushion where your butt sits in and you have that constant butt mark in your couch, man, that's when life starts to wrap up. And what is it that
Yes.
can get you off that couch? And maybe it's just going for a walk down your street or whatever it is. But
Yeah.
I always, want to push people do not get your butt indentation on that couch.
Yeah.
Get off. That's where adventures are still had. I don't care if you're 40 or 80 years old, you can still have adventures. I love Dick Van Dyke. I think he's in his mid 90s now. They just honored him at Disney and they asked him, they're like, you tap danced in Mary Poppins 2. You were 90 years old. How the heck did you do that? And he goes, I never bought a recliner. And I thought, what a cool answer. Jesus never found that one chair that he couldn't get out of. Watching reruns of whatever show, he kept moving and kept being active. And that inspires me. I
Mm-hmm.
do watch Netflix. I do love movies and I have my shows I love and I
Yes.
still watch them. But I feel like my life is still active. And that's a
Yeah.
lot of weekends with friends instead of watching binging something all Saturday, all Sunday. I'm like, let's go to a winery. Let's go to a football game. Let's go to the horse races here in Kentucky or
Yes.
whatever that is.
Yes. We do have so much to do. There's so much to do in Kentucky, especially in
There is. There
Lexington
really
too.
is. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot because between like the university and then the horse racing, it's like
Yeah.
your entire calendar is planned out for you for the year. So.
That's right. It's so true. It's so true. We have Red River Gorge and the mountains here. So we have all the hiking outdoor stuff. I'm going to a cabin this weekend. So I love it. Kentucky's a beautiful place.
So now when you go camping now, do you have a completely different perspective on it, having been literally naked out
Yes.
in Africa and
Of
South
course.
America? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I have two I'll say camping friend groups. I have my friends like this weekend, we're going to a brand new cabin with a hot tub and all the amenities.
That would be
And
me.
then-
That would be me. I'm a glamper.
Which is still great. It's still in the woods. I love every second of it. And then I have another friend group that's like tent camping and just sitting around a bonfire all night, which I love. But even that feels luxurious to me nowadays. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're in a tent. I have an air mattress I sleep on the ground. Like, that's nice. That's one of the things I think about being, whether it's on Naked and Afraid or you just go out and sleep in the woods for a couple nights, it makes you really appreciate the things that we do have. I will always think that a water faucet is magic. To be able to just pull a little thing and fresh drinkable water comes out. We are spoiled rotten and we don't even know it, that we have that option. And so that's one of the things that I've never forgotten is I get back in the swing of real life and technology and I forget, but I will always think that a water faucet is the coolest thing because you don't have that out there.
Yeah, I was going to say it has to bring about an appreciation for the things that just make our lives so easy. And oh my gosh, I even think about that when we travel and my blow dryer has blown the fuse in Europe a few times because they're really powerful. I'm like, on it. It's just the little things you're like, wow, I really can't. Okay. Yeah. You have to adjust the way that you travel, the way that you live.
And I don't care. I don't actually believe when people say I can't camp or I couldn't do that. I just don't believe that. All of us are incredibly stronger than we know it. We may be afraid to try it. We may not have ever tried it, but I assure you, we as humans are incredibly stronger than we know we are.
So, okay, because I'm someone who's like, ooh, I don't know. I feel like I'm a total glamper, and I'm with your friends this weekend. I would love the nice cabin. There's a place in like Central Florida, kind of over close to Tampa, where you can glamp, and it's got air conditioning, it's got the whole thing, but you're technically in the woods camping.
Like there's a couple trees here, so that counts.
That's right. Yes, and you're going to see really pretty stars because it's not, there's not a ton of light or artificial light. So at night, you're going to be able to enjoy that. So I have a couple of questions because I'm super curious and I'm sure our listeners are as well. What's one thing that you would say to someone like to get them into the right mindset to go camping if they've never gone?
Yeah, I would say face your fear. I think that's really what most of it boils down to. I'm afraid of bugs or I'm afraid of animals or I'm afraid of the darkness. Mm-hmm. Face your fears. And once you're out there and you realize, especially really in the United States at least, there's not a lot of big predatory animals that are going to come eat you, right? I could go sleep in the woods anywhere in Kentucky and nothing's going to come eat me because there's just no real predators like that. Someone may say a mountain lion, animal attacks, that's 1 in a billion. Like that just doesn't happen. They just don't come for us. Even in Florida, maybe don't sleep next to a lake because gators, but really
gators
other than
panthers,
that, other than that, face your fears. Our bodies are strong. They are resilient. They can go through a lot of things. I also think that somehow ingrained in our brain is still the memories, or I don't know how to word this without sounding hippy dippy, the spirits. There is something still inside our brain that knows how to survive because our ancestors did it for thousands of years. Now, we may have had air conditioning for the last 100 years. We may have had running water for the last 100 years. I don't know exactly how long those things were invented, but thousands and thousands of years, all of our ancestors did incredible things and pushed through incredible hardships. And people still do in the world, pushing through incredible poverty, starvation, dehydration, these things across the world, and they still fight through it. And some make it through. And I think that there is something still inside us that is able to do that. One of the big things these days is people talk about like doomsday preppers, and that's such a dramatic term. But like, what if our electricity goes down, for 2 months? What if our freshwater system breaks down for 2 months? I think the majority of anyone listening, you will adapt. It will be hard, but there is something inside you that can push through those tough times. And that could be maybe not even something big and dramatic, but simple as, a car wreck that changes your ability to walk, or whatever it is. We are adaptable, and we are much stronger than a lot of us give ourselves credit for. I think you could get out there and you become like an Amazonian, like glamazon, and I think you'd surprise yourself too.
I like to think so because I do feel that my mindset is I'm really strong willed and I have a
Yeah,
pretty high tolerance for pain.
that goes a long
So,
way.
yeah, I feel like some of those things is just if I could just get over some of my, like you said, my fears. I think
Yeah,
that's my fears are the biggest thing. And honestly, and anything, I always share in the goal setting space too. And there's so many like beautiful analogies that you have painted for the work that I do within companies and corporations of just getting people to face their goals and write them down. And one of the main reasons, one of the number one reasons that people cite for not even writing down their goals is because they're afraid. They're
yeah,
afraid if they put them out there, then they're going to actually have to face them and work towards them. But if we don't put them out there, then guess what? They're just up here and you can just kind of live with them here. The problem is that they eat at you slowly. Those fears start to wear you down and deteriorate your mindset and your approach to other things. And then those fears seep into other aspects of your life. And so I'm just fascinated by your strength and ability to push through because it's so powerful, and the message that you're sending, not just to the folks that you are fundraising for, the smaller people that you were talking about, like the people who need that. You're becoming that representation for them of what it is to truly embody and embrace those fears.
yeah. And it doesn't have to be go live in the wild. That's one analogy or one opportunity, but that equates to things too. Like, I'm in this job that I'm very unhappy in. It's miserable. I'm treated poorly there, and people are too afraid to start applying for new jobs. They're afraid of change. Lots of humans love a routine. I know that I get up at this time, I'm at work by this time, I sit at my computer for this
Mm-hmm.
long, and then I go home and watch my shows. Like, we get really, that is such a sinkhole that sucks us in. And I think a lot of people will sit in misery or sadness because they're too afraid to try. So maybe don't go out in the wild and face a gator, but maybe apply for a new job. That's the same. It's literally kind of the same. It's just
Yeah.
facing that fear, being ready for change, and learning that you are stronger than you think you are.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Yes, it's so true. It is so true. Okay, so the other curiosity that I have is okay, there are cameramen around, right?
Yeah.
When you're okay. So you have people filming you. Are you able to ask for a lifeline? Like, can they help you out at all? Or are you literally on your own?
No, you are on your own, whether that's The Amazing Race, Snake and Afraid, or Buddy Games. One good thing is it's got me really used to cameras, so they don't scare me at all because they're surrounding you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But no, they're just there to document it. They are not, the camera team is not survival experts. They're just there to follow you so that it captures your adventure, and so that they're able to tell that story, once it's edited at the end. And it's kind of cool. If I'm crawling through mud, then that camera team is also crawling through mud. So they're generally pretty tough individuals. They're used to that wild, those tough circumstances. If I'm on the Amazing Race or Buddy Games and I'm running because I'm competing, they're running alongside me and also carrying camera and sound equipment. So those people they deserve all the credit in the world for the job that they have to do on those shows. But nope, they don't help you if you're down and hurt. they're just filming you.
Wow. Oh my
If you have a
gosh.
mental breakdown, which I've had my tears on these
Yeah.
adventures, they just zoom in.
Yeah. Right. That's what makes for the good TV, right? That's
That's
it.
right.
Yes. Capitalizing on your weakest moments.
Of course,
Jeez.
of
Yeah.
course. Yep. But
Wow.
some of mine, there are moments where you see yourself on television that feel cringeworthy or maybe embarrassing. But I feel like maybe I'm lucky because I look back on all of the 5 times I've been on reality television now, and think, wow, it's so cool to go experience something like that and then get to see it back and share that with your friends and family. You know, when you go on vacation, you want to show your photo slideshow to all your friends and family, like, oh, we were in Italy, we did this, look, that's a picture of the tower, or this, you know, like, you're so excited to share that adventure. And reality TV is like that on steroids. It's like, look at the, you know, because you're seeing all the footage and drones and all this stuff of these crazy things that we got to go out there and do. So really the biggest, funnest part of it all, I think, is watching it back with your friends and family.
I love it. Oh my gosh. You are such a fantastic and just fascinating human. And I'm so
Well,
glad.
I,
I'm so glad I know you.
I think it's just like, I'm just a yes man. People are like, you want to go live naked in the wild? I'm like, yes. Do you want to go race around the world for $1,000,000? Yes. You know,
Sure.
do you want to take your friends out and compete, you know, on buddy games with Josh Duhamel? Yes. I don't know. Just yes. Why not say yes? Because all kinds of things can happen because of that. And even doing reality television, as silly as it can be sometimes, they really were incredible experiences for me. And they've opened all kinds of fun doors, just fun little things that have made my life fun. I've gotten to
Yes.
take over the UK men's basketball Instagram during a basketball game. I've got to throw out the first pitch at our local baseball team. And those sound like silly things. I swear I don't care about being famous. That has never been my goal. It's something I've never said or thought. But I love opportunity. I love to do new cool things. And reality TV has kind of opened up some fun doors for silly little things like that. It's got me more involved in local news. I now co-host periodically one of the morning shows here, and I'm just loving every second of it. So it's, you know, finding this opportunity, and sometimes that opportunity can turn into these opportunities, and you get to do
Yes.
all these things. So that's why I think saying yes and trying new things, it can be scary at first, but pay off dividends in the end.
I love it. I love it. I always say my default setting is to say yes to everything. It
Yeah.
sometimes gets me overwhelmed, but at the same time, to your point, I'm the same. I love opportunities. I love new things to challenge me. And because a piece of my mission statement is that I love to live life in the uncomfortable. So probably not glamping and actually camping would be that aspect of me stepping outside of my and challenge, my own self, challenging myself to step outside of my comfort level and to truly, I know I'm capable of doing it. I think that's the other thing too, is I know if I really put my mind to it, I'm capable of doing it. Maybe not naked and afraid yet. Maybe let me just try to hike
Well,
by
yeah.
myself and not get
Don't
lost.
don't go to Naked and Afraid first. Let's
First,
just
right?
go to a cabin first, and then
Yes,
maybe a trailer, and
a
then maybe
tree.
a tent. Like, we'll just learn as we go.
Yes, yes, exactly. Yes. Let me go without the blow dryer for 2 days.
Right, right.
That'll be a huge step for me. No.
Yeah,
But I love what you have shared, and I'm just so appreciative of the mindset, and that you do say yes to things and that you are open, because I think having an open mindset is so key when we are pushing ourselves to the
yeah.
next level, to get to the place where we know we are capable of being. And to your point, we're all capable. I think you said it best when you said we're all capable of doing things, doing more than what we think we are. We limit
Yeah.
ourselves so much up here.
So much every
Yeah.
day. Yeah,
Yes, every day. Yes,
yeah.
yes. Just in pushing ourselves to, oh, I can't do that, or oh man. Oh, so I love your mindset. I love where your heart's at. I just love
Yeah.
everything about you. You're fantastic. So I want to know what's on the horizon for Andrew Shayde. You mentioned the show, and I'm going to be in
Yep.
Lexington in April, so I think hopefully we can chit chat.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm definitely doing more and more with local news, which is a blast. I'm working at United Way as well, so,
Awesome.
which I love because I'm working to not raise money for just one nonprofit. It's several. We have several partner agencies, which ranges everything from scouts, kids, Boys and Girl Scouts, domestic violence shelters for women and kids, among many other things. And so now I feel like I get to, like, you know, be a part of all of that in my tiny little way by raising funds to help all of those different issues, causes in our community, which I really love that. So, like I said, I'll always stay involved there. I do have one more TV thing coming up, but I can't talk about it yet. And then after that, I think I'll probably retire from reality TV. I think, at some point I'm like, all right, I'm in my 40s. Nobody wants to see a 40-year-old man prancing through the woods, doing silly things. So I will count my blessings on the opportunities that I've had and retire from those. But and then focus just back on nonprofit work and doing some local TV stuff.
I cannot wait to watch your journey continue to just unfold and all of the amazing things that you are doing with your life and the next challenge for you. My last question is, I always ask all my guests, what is your do the dang goal? Is there a goal for this year? Is there a goal for the next, the one that maybe you've been putting off, or one that you're like, you know what, I just need to face it. Like I need to face my own kind of, and just do it. Just do the dang thing.
Yeah. I want to push a local TV show into new areas. I love what we are already doing and what is happening there. And I want to push that. I want to see topics that have not been covered. I want to see heavier conversation brought into it. So yeah, I want to kind of push the envelope on what is currently, top stories in our area and push that into new things, new and big and crazy things. That's my goal, which, being new to local broadcast television, that's probably a big goal. But that's what I want to do. I want to do something new with it. Not just kind of step into the role as a host of a morning show, but push the boundaries.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I definitely think you're the person to do that. And I'm excited that we're going to get together in real life and in person again, because it's been a really long time.
Over 25 years or something.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
And you look the same. I don't know what fountain of youth you drink from. When I saw your picture pop up on social media, it's like, that's Maria. And she hasn't changed at all. I was like, what does she eat? She looks the exact same.
Well, thank you. I always say it's I think my daddy and my mama all the time. I'm like, yes, it's the genes. It's something in the genes. Yes. But no, thank you so much, Andrew. You are just a delightful human being, and we need so many more of you in this world. And I'm just so thankful for everything that you put out there, being you and helping other people. And I am just so excited to continue to watch you crush your do the dang goal.
You are so sweet. You are like my new hype woman. When I'm having a bad day, I'm just going to call Maria because you just hype me up. I'm like, yes, I can do it because Maria said it. What?
You just send me a message and I'm there for you. I got you. We
should all do that for each other more. We should be able to call a friend and be like, yo, I need some hype man today. And we just like pep rally each other up. That should be a daily thing.
Yes. Yes, I so agree. I think sometimes we get so involved in our own lives, and it just, and I have had friends of mine who've done that for me too. And it's like, they have no idea. And then typically we'll share with them like the impact they made in that moment, just because it completely can shift your entire day and your entire approach, and can, like they say, as cliche and as corny it is, it turns that frown upside down. And and then you're,
mentality determines everything, If you got a good mentality going, you're unstoppable.
I agree. Yes. Oh, well, we're going to keep being unstoppable, you and me, and you are fantastic. Thank you so, so much for your time. And where can everyone find you so they can follow you?
Oh, yes. I love Instagram. It's my favorite little hiding place. Andrew Shayde on Instagram. And I love talking with people. People always are like, oh, I'm Afraid and Naked and Afraid or The Amazing Race, and I want to ask you about this, but I don't want to bug you. I'm like, I loved my experiences, so I love talking about it. Ask me anything. I'm also a super fan of these shows, so I can talk about other seasons. Like, I'm a big nerdy fan as well, so I'm all about talking about it. So don't anyone ever hesitate to reach out.
Oh, fantastic. Awesome. Well, we're going to link your Instagram in the show notes, as well as can the morning show. Can you watch it online? I want to.
Oh, yeah. Currently, I'm doing some on Fox 56. So if you look up Fox 56 Lexington, Kentucky on YouTube, they'll see clips and all kinds of stuff there.
Perfect. Well, we'll link all that in the show notes so that everyone can find you. And thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thank you
so much.
Thank you. Yeah.